is of particular interest to me is to see whether the grace is going to be taken out in public this year at the Abu Assembly. Now, if that thing comes out, it just means, there's a Malay phrase, bodoh degil, like it's stupid and stubborn. And it means that these people just cannot be taught. They just cannot be taught because they are unwilling to listen and unwilling to learn. So it's up to us as responsible Malaysian citizens to give them the teaching they deserve. And which means at the next election we vote them out. Because that's the only way that these parties will actually learn to reform themselves when they are faced with the prospect of actually losing power for the first time.
I like that comment. When the thing comes out, it's dangerous. I think we have concluded a very, very exciting, fruitful, intellectual and thoughtful discussion from the outstanding panelists, and I'd like you to collectively give them a real visit. They have all been first rate, and it's a privilege to have been able to hear them and to also raise questions. And to all those who raised questions and commentaries, we also thank you. I am not going to make a summary as I planned because of the late hour. But let me just say, I think Tricia and CPPS, we will work out some summary of the major points and put it on our website. And for you all to read and comment and have an interaction. I'd like to thank again Sunway University College. I see Mr. Lee and Rinking and Elizabeth Lee here, and of course all the panelists, and you all, and to Tricia, I must say, and her hard-working staff for making this possible. Now, because she organized this, and because she's a lady, she shall have the last say. Thank you very much.
It holds true that the youth is indeed an important factor in these elections. I hope you'll grace me 2 or 3 minutes. I think the main issue that we've been looking at throughout the whole session is really the question of whether is Malaysia moving beyond racial politics. And I like very much the way we've been discussing it so far about deconstructing history. If I am allowed to deviate slightly from my chairman's position, I would like to say that if the NEP was relevant in the past, right now it may not be so relevant because it is structurally faulty if, for example, you have certain policies that have preferences for a certain group explicitly stated within corporate equity measures, within procurement policies that are inbuilt, which therefore means it lays fertile ground for the sort of patronage, cronyism and nepotism to breed. I'm not saying that it will not work necessarily, but it just lays fertile ground for that. And we do not necessarily need a policy to eradicate poverty irrespective of race, because isn't that what we should be doing anyway as a federal government of Malaysia, irrespective of race? Now I think if you talk about deconstruction, the two things that keep Malaysians returning back to the issue of a race-based politics is, number one, Article 153 in the Constitution it's always constantly thrown back at us, but we have to recognize that it was actually put in place because we wanted to recognize the economic disadvantaged state of the Bhumiputra, which is not necessarily the case today. And secondly, we need to look at the issue of a social contract. Now, a friend of mine, Professor Clive Kessler, who's sitting right there, he's just produced this book called Sharing the Nation, and it talks about the social contract. It's always thrown back at us time and again. But what really does this mean? Do you know that the term social contract was actually introduced only in the year 1986?
Tricia, I'm still chairman. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to wind up.
Okay, thank you, Tan Sri. My point being that we need to rethink a lot of the terms and phrases that we have been familiarized with for many years. Finally, I'd like to propose that all citizens should be wary of any political statements made by any party. They basically make political statements because they need to retreat to their ethnic basis, but we as the people must show that we do not need to hear these sort of statements as educated and informed voters. And finally, as representing Centre for Public Policy Studies, all these will be recorded, put on YouTube, photos, report. They're all up on our website, cpps.org.my, and we have a lot of interesting, exciting projects that are coming up. Please look at our flyers. We're looking at the midterm review of the 9th Malaysia Plan. We're looking at checks and balances in Malaysian society. How does the budget get formed each year? And various other initiatives that we hope will engage young Malaysians in the future. Thank you very much for attending. Please stay back for refreshments and chats that's at the back behind you. Thank you for coming and stay tuned. I know, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Going the camera with the pictures online.
You can just take the card.
But I don't have the card.
You have a card reader. Waiter, we'll figure that out. I'll still be here anyway.
Okay, let's go.
Busy today? Oh, you're a mother, you're a mama Trish, are you?
I'm on this function. Yeah, I know you're a climber. Trish told me about you.
It's very kind of you to go and give a plug to a book at the end. So you do all the technical stuff.
No, not really. It's just that CPS doesn't have that much money.
So yeah, so you do it all.
It's slave labor.
Well, slave and what? Anyway.
Wonderful.
She said, I named she may do a thing on, she said on the idea of social contract with Megan and with Miranda, but two other, I'm only one of the authors, the main one.
Okay, good. Right, go ahead.